Look at a map of the Middle East, right between the coastlines of Iran and Oman, and you'll find a waterway that narrows to a gap of barely 21 miles. This is the Strait of Hormuz. Through this tight geographical pinch point flows a quarter of all the crude oil traded by sea around the entire world. Add to that roughly 20% of the world's supply of liquefied natural gas, the supercooled fuel that powers heating and electricity grids, primarily exported from countries like Qatar. It is also a crucial artery for agriculture. Up to 30% of internationally traded nitrogen fertilizers, like urea, leave the Persian Gulf through this exact same route. Every day, the fuel you put in your car, the gas that heats your home, and the fertilizer that grows your food all trace back to this single, unavoidable physical passage. Because the strait is so narrow, ships must navigate right along the territorial waters of heavily armed, often adversarial nations. We saw exactly what happens when that tension breaks. During the 2026 Iran war, threats to shipping in the strait caused crude oil to spike past $114 a barrel, sending prices at local gas pumps to their highest levels since 2022. The disruption hit food systems almost immediately. With tanker traffic stalled, the supply of essential urea fertilizer was cut off, driving up agricultural costs and threatening global food yields. An international economy is only as resilient as its weakest physical link. When the Strait of Hormuz chokes, the rest of the world suffocates. If this waterway is so vulnerable, the obvious question is why major energy producers don't just lay overland pipelines to route around the strait entirely. They actually do. The United Arab Emirates built the Habshan-Fujairah pipeline, moving crude oil directly to the Gulf of Oman, successfully bypassing the bottleneck. But this chart compares overland pipeline capacity against maritime flow. Regional onshore pipelines combined have a maximum capacity of around 3 million barrels daily. The Strait handles up to 19 million. The math simply does not work. On top of that, liquefied natural gas cannot be easily piped long distances over land. It has to be kept extremely cold and transported by massive, specialized sea vessels. Despite billions of dollars spent on alternative infrastructure, the sheer volume of global energy demand means the physical geography of the strait cannot be bypassed. While the world focuses on supertankers, a completely different economy operates in the shadows of this same waterway. Look at the Omani city of Kasab, located on the Musandam Peninsula. It sits barely 30 miles across the water from Iran, making it a bustling hub for cross-strait contraband. Smugglers load small, high-powered speedboats with consumer electronics and home appliances, sprinting across the gap to evade international sanctions on Iran. On the return trip, they haul livestock destined for markets in the UAE and Saudi Arabia. To global superpowers, the strait is a tense military flashpoint. To local merchants, its porous borders are an essential, lucrative economic lifeline. But because there is no viable alternative route, the strait naturally becomes the ultimate stage for military leverage. Iran's naval strategy avoids competing with massive battleships. Instead, they rely on a fleet of small, fast attack boats designed to swarm, harass, and overwhelm larger vessels in the crowded shipping lanes. They also hold an estimated arsenal of over 5,000 naval mines. These can be rapidly dropped into the water by those same speedboats, creating an invisible, lethal minefield that instantly paralyzes commercial transit. To counter this, the United States and its allies deploy enormous aircraft carriers and specialized destroyer fleets, projecting overwhelming naval dominance and active minesweeping operations. Keeping this 21-mile stretch open to global trade requires a permanent, multi-billion-dollar commitment of heavy military force. In early 2026, following targeted assassinations of top officials, Iranian leadership pulled the trigger on their ultimate deterrent. They declared the Strait of Hormuz closed to passage. They didn't need to physically wall off the ocean. By striking vessels, like this commercial tanker hit during the conflict, they drove up insurance rates exponentially. It created a soft closure where captains simply refused to enter the waters because safety could not be guaranteed. This triggered an intense political standoff. The Trump administration issued strict ultimatums demanding the strait be reopened, and heavily pressured European and Asian allies to send warships to help break the blockade. The conflict proved that even a coalition of the world's most capable militaries struggles to rapidly clear an asymmetric blockade once it's actively enforced. This chart plots daily tanker passages through the Strait in early 2026. Within days, traffic dropped by over 90%. That restricted roughly 10 million barrels of daily oil production. As supply vanished, the global price of crude spiked violently past $100 a barrel. Asian economies that rely on the Persian Gulf for up to 90% of their energy imports faced immediate, severe shortages, prompting economists to warn of a sudden worldwide recession. We live in an era of diversified supply chains, overland pipelines, and massive naval fleets. Yet the fundamental physical reality remains completely unchanged. Worldwide economic stability is entirely at the